Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for all things innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Greg Wilfahrt on the line. He's Chief Mobility and Marketing Officer over at AP Technology. Greg, welcome to the show.
Well, hello, Adam. It's good to be on Mission Matters again.
So excited to get to today's topic. So we're going to talk about the payment landscape for businesses and how it's changing. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing over at AP Technology. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, pleasure. So AP Technology, as the name implies, is a technology company, and we've been around since 1989, creating payment software for a wide variety of business customers, ranging from America's largest banks, government offices, schools, and businesses of all sizes. So we're also a payment processor. So to give your audience a scale of how big we are on pace to process about $80 billion in payments for our customers this year, Adam.
Woo, $80 billion. So you're little babies, right? Just getting started.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you're a business in America, it's quite likely that you've either paid using our software or you've received a payment from AP Technology in some way, shape, or form.
That's awesome. And you have a unique vantage point. I mean, big company around for a very long time. And that's why I'm interested in this topic for you. So the evolution of payments and how businesses are doing that. I mean, where do you want to start with this topic?
Well, I think as more and more people continue to work remotely, Adam, there are a number of challenges that are inherent in that. And one of them continues to be security. So on the forefront of everybody's mind, no matter what the payment source is, you're wondering, is that payment secure? And, a great stat for your audience, Adam, is going to be that last year, 81% of organizations were targeted or there was an attempt of actual pay fraud. That was in 2019. And it's a remarkably high figure, but the good news is that there's always payment companies such as AP Technology that are working to stay constantly ahead of the bad guys. And that's one of the neat things that your audience might want to hear about today. And it's regarding, the fact that people are protecting these payments via a number of ways. And some of the interesting ways that we're protecting these payments going into the future are going to be through biometrics. And one of the recent innovations that we employ on some of our checks that we service are secure QR codes that add a level of security to those payments while also giving you information about the payments themselves. So pretty interesting stuff.
Wow, this is getting pretty high tech. I'm liking it. So what do you let's go a little bit further into that work from home landscape and this trend that I don't think is going away anytime soon. How are these businesses or remote workers kind of affected? Let's go a little bit further down that path.
You bet. So one of the I think one of the aspects that your audience will be able to relate to is the fact that when you're signing checks, and by the way, close to 50% of American businesses still pay through checks. So that's a medium that's not going anywhere soon. But whether we're talking about ACH, the electronic payments, or checks, it's there's one problem that a lot of businesses have, and that's chasing down the boss for his signature, right? And that might be on a Friday or whenever. And one of the interesting innovations that's coming up and is available today is the ability to not only approve, but also to sign your payments remotely. And then you can also employ a no-touch, print and pay service so that you, in effect, never have to touch the payment, after managing and approving that payment. So that's pretty cool for your audience.
Man, that's awesome. And yeah, when I think about the different, just the different technologies out there and how things have evolved, you're right. It's tricky. And and as you were talking about checks, I was trying to figure out how many different ways we process payments over here. And I'm like, man, we use Stripe, PayPal, checks, this, that. I mean, somebody might send me a pigeon with some cash on their. No, I'm just playing.
That's great.
I mean, we take money as the thing. I'm saying we're okay with accepting it, but you're right.
You're not allergic to money. That's good. And that's the key here is that, payments, no matter what type they are being modernized, specifically the checks. And, we're lucky at AP Technology to have our CEO is also, if we had a chief innovation officer, Richard Love would also be that. He's responsible for, dating back to when government payment systems were being designed for the government. Richard was on the forefront of that. Today, we're coming up with different payment programs and solutions for every type of business you can possibly imagine, from, billion-dollar payments for the largest banks to the mom and pops who deserve just as much protection. And so, that's the kind of innovation that we're having to scale to whatever the business need is. And I think, when you're talking about authorizing and signing payments, that's good, but you also want, some backdoor protection, for check fraud or any payment fraud. And, so positive pay is a service that your viewers may be familiar with. It's something that we have inherent in some of our products. And I think the important thing is to be able to process checks, securely, and remotely. So you can do that as you choose in a variety of different ways.
Man, that's awesome, Greg. So that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on AP Technology, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Adam, a couple of different ways they can reach us. They can use either sales or they can use info@aptechnology.com, and I'll see every one of those that come through. So we'd love to hear from your audience. And there's so much going on in the world of payments now. There's always an easier way. There's always a more cost-effective way, and there's always a safer way to pay. And so if a lot of your audience are scratching their heads saying, hey, there's got to be a better way to do this, chances are we've got it for them.
Fantastic. Well, Greg, great to have you on the show. Appreciate you coming on and giving us an update on what's going on in the payment landscape and how it's improving. So appreciate that. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Innovation, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. I mean, love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Greg, thanks again for coming on the show.
Adam, thanks to you and to your Mission Matters audience.